astrology enthusiasts. My name is Misty, and this is Danny, and we're here today with another Astrobabble segment to talk upcoming transits for the month of July. And we're filming this on the 25th of June. And from our last report, I remember so much talking about the Venus-Pluto opposition, which is happening most recently while we're filming this. We've passed it, but that has been the most recent thing that's happened. And I'd say that has hit me the hardest from June's transit. So before we jump into July, Danny, how has June been for you?
June has been a little bit of a roller coaster for sure. Like I had a lot of work to do at the beginning of the month. And then I've got schoolwork because I'm getting my master's right now. That's been really overwhelming. But the worst thing is I just got really, really sick, like debilitating in the bed for like 7 days sick. And so you said that the Venus Pluto was the worst for you. How did it show up in your life? And then I'll tell you how it showed up in mine.
Between everyone, I've noticed just like this very heavy, like ego, just like butting heads vibe.
Yeah,
That's just something I've noticed a lot popping up in life over the last
interesting.
week. So not the
Gotcha.
most fun. So I'm happy that Venus is moving on and we can get back to hot girl summer of Leo Venus.
Yeah, hot girl summer for sure. So it showed up for me with me getting sick. So um the it was exact on the 17th, and I really like that's when I stopped working and had to like stop my classes and just go to bed. And it happened on my ascendant descendant axis. I mean off by like 3 degrees, but enough that it was pretty affecting me. And so not only did I get sick, but my partner got sick, and then his family got sick while he's out of the country. So like my partner left the country. I was home by myself alone, sick, 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 like some of the sickest I've ever been. Pluto sick too, if you understand what I'm saying. And,
Yeah,
and yeah, and then but the Venus part of it is that like I got to rest.
yeah,
And so I never get to rest unless I'm sick, right? And so it was not fun to be sick, but the Venus part was definitely like, okay, sit down, sit down, eat some grapes.
yes, yeah. You deserve to pamper yourself, and yeah, that's a big lesson to learn. Just that self-value of like maybe I should stop pushing myself so hard so I can recover. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever learn that, but I'll try.
Yeah. And I'm sure the Jupiter and Cancer that's been going on in your chart like for a while in the sixth house has not been helping, or Cancer season.
No.
Yeah, which speaking of Cancer season, I'm back with a new zodiac collection of Cancer. You can't see her in the background, so I'll edit her in the video here in post. But she is real cute, and
So
can't wait to list her on my website because I love her so much. She's my
her
favorite.
dress matches my wall paint.
Yeah, I just love how she's like, I went for like 1950s housewife, but like crazy
I love it.
vibes, which I think is perfect for Cancer because they'll be
Yes,
snippy sometimes.
I feel like she would have a shrimp cocktail in one claw and a martini in the other.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's the vibe I want for Cancer season.
Agreed. Agreed. For sure. But it's always me like doing too much or resting. I don't know. It's just yeah, sixth
Right.
house stuff for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
okay. That's
That's
okay.
okay. We get to
Sometimes,
Leo. We'll
yeah.
get to Leo eventually.
Which we will see by the end of the month. So, are you ready to jump into the July transits?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we start off July on Wednesday with Jupiter and Leo squaring Chiron and Taurus. This is the pain of keeping up with the Joneses. With Chiron and Taurus, we're really doing the work to face our wounds surrounding stability and security. And Jupiter in Leo brings in an expansion of pride, play, and dramatics. And squaring off with each other, there's a tension today between our expanding self perception versus our material wounds. If you just think about it, like it's this dynamic of a lot of people shape their identity based off of what they own or what they want to own. And it can bring up a lot of those feelings of maybe not feeling like you can shape yourself into the person you want to be or really express yourself without having. This could be a good day for investing in yourself and indulging in those material things that reflect how you want to carry yourself. But it's also important to remember that genuine confidence comes from the heart and not from what you have. So bear that in mind today. I know it sucks when you can't have that nice dress that you've been wanting or the smartwatch or what have you, but you don't have to have those things to become who you want to be. Um, and then on Thursday, the 2nd, we have Mars and Gemini squaring the North Node in Pisces. And this is, I see this as a fear of perspective. Our action today is really guided by our feelings with not much logic behind them. Some people might be set today on misunderstanding others. Mars in Gemini is likely to cause unexpected arguments and social battles, squaring off with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. This is a volatile energy that can lead to hurt feelings at best and victimization at worst. It's easy to talk shit about the things that you don't understand. So people might say and do things over the next several days without really thinking about how it's perceived by others. Try your best not to take it personally. And Mars will apply to its Uranus conjunction through the next few days, making for this to be a particularly explosive time and an explosive 4th of July weekend, which is appropriate, but maybe we don't want it on a social level
Yeah.
with that Gemini energy. On Saturday, July 4th, Independence Day, we have that Mars Uranus conjunction exact, and then Mars also sextiles Neptune. This is the energy of giving fireworks to your insensitive drunk uncle. Um, this social volatility over the last few days comes to a peak as Mars conjuncts Gemini early in the morning, and expect it to linger through the rest of the day. And as Mars sextiles Neptune in Aries toward the end of the day, this is likely the smoke that comes after an explosion. The worst is over by the end of the day, but the dust still needs to settle. This can lead to exercising less caution around our actions. Don't handle fireworks if you're inebriated. Just use your best judgment. Do not, it's not a good idea to put all of those bottle rockets in a metal coffee can. Don't do that. I'm speaking from experience.
Hilarious. Yeah.
But those are my thoughts about that first week. Do you have any thoughts on that, Danny?
I'm just really curious as to how this Mars and Uranus, I mean, which makes sense, it's Uranus. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just like, I'm curious about it. Like, I know astrologically it's supposed to be terrible,
Yeah.
right? But it also, like, sounds exciting, like on a
It does
personal
sound
level.
exciting.
Um, and so maybe it'll just be a good weekend for us. A good 4th of July, like lots of fireworks, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. That's what I'm hoping for because I do think it is a perfect transit to have on
Or
that
the,
particular 4th
yeah.
of July
And
weekend.
then it's happening like in the morning on the 4th of July because the 4th of July is Saturday this year. Like everyone's going to be doing their stuff Friday night, right? So
Yeah,
it's literally the fireworks.
yeah,
Oh, and then the next day is the hangover from 4th of July party that you had on the 3rd, and the fog of war of whatever fights you got into because you were drunk, and then
yeah,
like, but like they're being supportive energy for everyone to be like, it's okay,
yeah.
have some champagne. Maybe it's brunch energy.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Then
Drunk at
then
brunch energy.
yeah, the sextile, the Mars sextile to Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a little bit of anger from yesterday with the Marsy part, but like, and you've got a
Yeah.
hangover, so it's not great, but also like it's a supportive conversation energy. So
Rehashing the tales over bread. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and like, okay, to go a little bit big, like whenever, if Mars and Uranus does end up being this horrible thing for the collective, whatever might happen, like it usually brings people together
Yeah.
when something bad happens. So maybe that's going to be happening in our personal lives, or so maybe there is a crisis moment with the Mars Uranus, and then the Mars sextile Neptune is you with the people that you care about, even if it's a little delulu and you're ignoring the reality of what just happened, but it's still like the love after. Now, does that make
Yeah.
sense to you at all?
No, I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, so it's a little support there. I'm thankful for these outer planet supportive conversations in the midst of this that we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about at some point. So yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, heading into week 2, are you ready for
Yeah.
that?
Let's do week
Uh,
2.
I'm calling week 2 reality checks and refinements. So after the fireworks, literal and astrological of the first week of July, we move into a week that's a little more thoughtful, which will be helpful. The energy shifts from reaction to reflection. And this is where we start to ask ourselves, what do I actually want to build and what's just noise? Okay, what am I imagining? So first on Sunday, July 5th, Mars and Gemini will trine Pluto in Aquarius. This is a powerful mental transit. So Mars and Gemini wants movement, ideas, information, conversations, and Pluto and Aquarius wants transformation. And together they create a moment where people become very aware of the power of information. So this is major conversations gaining momentum. So maybe that craziness that happened on Friday night is making everyone talk on Sunday and like actually make something change. People
Mm-hmm.
are speaking up, social movements finding direction, important truths surfacing. So, on the personal level, you may feel focused and motivated. This is a transit where an idea suddenly turns into a plan, and it's less about talking and more about strategic communication. And then heading into Monday, the Sun in Cancer will square Saturn in Aries, and this can feel a little heavy, like no one wants to go back to work the Monday after the 4th of July. Okay, so Sun in Cancer wants comfort, safety, and emotional connection, and Saturn in Aries asks us to take responsibility for ourselves. So this can be frustration around family obligation, leadership decisions, and feeling unsupported. So personally, we can feel like we have emotional fatigue. Of course, you're going to be hungover, right? And realizing that you can't avoid something any longer, like, okay, I've got to change what I'm doing. I need to stop drinking, or I need to like not drink as much on Sunday before I have to go on Monday, or like I need to be aware of what I'm going to do on the 4th of July weekend and take Monday off, those kind of things,
Yeah.
confronting responsibilities that you've been putting off. So but the good thing is that Saturn lessons are useful. They're not so much punishment. So this isn't, you're not being punished for no reason. It's accountability. It's just like what happens from your actions. Heading into Tuesday, Neptune turns retrograde in the sign of Aries. So whenever an outer planet stations, we just feel them more strongly. Like they're always doing their thing in the background, but it just gets a little louder when they're stuck in the same spot, which is what happens when they turn around. So Neptune in Aries has been asking, what are you fighting for? What inspires you? What dream are you chasing? And with the retrograde movement, we begin questioning those initial answers that we made. So we've started answering those questions for ourselves, and now we're going to go backwards and rethink those questions. Like, are they still the truth? As much truth as you can get with Neptune. They still my dream? Are they still the thing that I'm hoping for? And so this could be becoming skeptical of leaders of movements, realizing that you're in the cult, those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
narratives and ideals. And so then personally, we can begin to separate inspiration from illusion. And we may find ourselves asking, do I actually want this, or did I just like the idea of it? I think we've talked about Neptune and Aries as the cult energy, right?
I think
Before,
we
yeah,
have. Yeah.
cult leader energy, right? And it's just like realizing that maybe the meditation practice that you got from the cult was great, but you don't need to be a part of his 15th wife,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So Neptune retrograde doesn't destroy the dream. It just asks whether the dream is real. Like, okay, I got to hold the baby tiger, but then we had to raise the tiger, like to reference Tiger King. So, anyways, then we get Wednesday off, yay. And then Thursday, Venus enters Virgo. I guess it's the end of hot girl summer. It's still hot
Sad.
girl summer. It's still hot girl summer. But it changes. These are changes in the relationship atmosphere dramatically. Okay, so Venus has been in Leo where she wants grand gestures and attention, and now she's in Virgo and she wants usefulness. This is Martha Stewart energy. Martha Stewart has Venus in Virgo natally. So this is not I wrote you a poem. It's I recognize that I reorganized your pantry because I
Yeah.
love you and I want it to like work better in your life. So this is acts of service as your love language, but it's also critique as care, which sometimes doesn't land for people. As someone who was formerly married to a man with Venus and Virgo natally, like he loved to tell me what I did wrong as a way of loving me, and I did not appreciate that. But he did it with care.
Yeah.
So just recognize some people are not gonna accept it. So watch for the correct landing. But practical care is going to become more valued overall. Relationships are going to become more discerning, and people are going to become aware of details. And this will be good because we've got the South Node in Virgo, which is making us lose a lot of detail right now. And so to have Venus bring some more energy into this area will help some details start to show up again. Venus in Virgo loves through effort. So watch out for criticism and perfectionism, though. So
Hmm.
effort towards the people that you love, but it's going to be very intentional, correct effort. Just be careful. Because Martha Stewart's real harsh sometimes.
She do be, but she's
But
earned
it's because
that.
yes, she's like, this is a good thing.
Says me, the Virgo Venus.
I know, girl. Thankfully, you don't critique me.
We'll see. We'll see. When we meet in person, I might be like,
No,
hey, you missed a
hey,
spot in your hair.
like I'll be like, I know. I have Venus in Scorpio. It's on purpose. Okay, I want you to be uncomfortable.
Ooh.
All right, so that's Thursday, and then Friday, Venus is going to trine Chiron. So this is healing energy, conversations about worth and value. This is earthy energy. We have a lot going on in fire and air and
Mhm.
water with all the stuff going on in Cancer. We need some grounded stuff. And so thankfully this is going to bring some groundedness, which we don't have a ton going on right now. And I really like that Chiron is moving into Taurus after Uranus is leaving. So like the shakeup has happened and now we get to heal the shakeup. So it's like Uranus broke the bone in the earthquake. And now Chiron is coming in and is going to set the bone, which is going to hurt. But then at the end of the day, like you'll be able to use your arm again. So I love that Venus is like having this helpful conversation with Chiron to bring that energy to our attention. So these are conversations about worth and value, healing through practical support, people helping each other in tangible ways. So personally, you can see opportunities to rebuild confidence and realize your worth isn't something that you have to earn, it's just there. And that sometimes healing doesn't arrive dramatically, but it arrives through consistency. So this is energy encouraging you to make the routine and stick to the routine. If you drink the 8 glasses of water a day, you're going to feel better in a week.
Mhm.
You may have to pee a lot tonight, but in 2 weeks, your bladder will be used to it. So the habit, it's the habit that changes and it's sticking. Saturday, we have Venus opposing the North Node, which means she's meeting up with the South Node in Virgo. So this is a relationship and values checkpoint. So you're asking yourself, what relationships support your growth? What patterns need to be left behind? And what are you prioritizing? So this can feel like a crossroads for some people, and some connections can move forward and some reveal that they've already run their course. So not every relationship is meant to follow you into your future. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and sometimes we don't know how it's going to start, when it comes, where they're going to be. But you got to let go of the people that are no longer like supporting you towards becoming your best self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a very Venusian week there.
Venusian, but in Virgo. It's also like a very earthy week,
Yes.
which I don't feel like
And
we've had a lot of Earth in a while.
no, it's definitely much needed. And I think the Venus in Virgo, yes, Venus is uncomfortable there, I would know. But I think it'll help a lot of us start cleaning some things up. I think we'll start getting our things cleaned up, and that
I mean,
is really important.
hot girl summer usually ends up with your hair being held back by your best friend.
Yeah.
So
And
this
then you're
is,
like, something needs to change.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, enjoy it. It's a fun party, but you do have to deal with it next day.
Yeah. And for those of you like the transition of Venus and Leo to Venus and Virgo reminds me of just like the dating routines and rituals of like Venus and Leo is like when you're freshly single and like at that point where you're like ready to get out dating but not being serious and you're just like having fun. And then, but by doing so, you meet a lot of duds. And then you're in Venus and Virgo and you're like, I need to be way more picky.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, in another way, it's when you are meeting someone and they are trying to sweep you off of your feet.
Yeah.
And then how that relationship changes once you're actually living together, you're actually in the routine of seeing each other. It's that transition as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall when someone's like showering you with compliments, um, but then you go to their house for the first time and you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
all of the clothes on the floor.
Right, right. Venus in Leo is the love bomb.
Yes, exactly.
And
Which is
Venus in,
fun. It's a great time. It's
yeah,
really
it's
fun.
a great time. Yeah, you just got to be aware of what happens after. So,
All right, are we ready for week 3?
yes, let's do it.
So this is July 12th through the 18th. We start week 3 on Sunday with the Sun in Cancer conjuncting Mercury retrograde in Cancer for retrograde Cazimi. I have this labeled as, quote, I was only trying to protect you. So during Mercury's retrograde transit through Cancer, that we'll be experiencing through the next several weeks. We're in reevaluation and revisiting mode of our emotional minds. Topics of the past are likely to come up for all of us during this time, especially as it relates to family and emotional nurturing and our sense of safety. And today, Mercury becomes illuminated by the sun in this special conjunction, and we gain emotional clarity through Mercury's retrograde journey. So expect illuminations of emotional understanding, potentially about your past. So this is an energy of like, I remember when my frontal lobe was developing, and I was like, being extremely reflective of my childhood and like my parents and like why they made the choices that they made and how that impacted how I turned out. It's kind of like that feeling of like I didn't understand this before, but looking back now, I understand it now and maybe mom did those things because she was just trying to protect me. So expect those types of illuminations to come through today, I would say.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, the 13th, we have Venus and Virgo squaring Uranus and Gemini. This is electric love that actually does electrocute you. So Venus and Virgo, as we talked about, is making us feel judgmental and fussy and squaring off with Uranus and Gemini. This criticism gets challenged, maybe unexpectedly. And you might find disruptions coming up in your relationships, disruptions coming up just like in your comfortability, even. We might feel more compelled toward taking on a more non-traditional approach to relationships and our values. But that also comes with the conflict of facing societal expectations when your love life doesn't quite fit the mold. So that Venus and Virgo, Miss Clean Girl energy, maybe she's in love with the skater boy. Maybe she's in love with the skater boy and is having to like navigate those challenges. So yeah, I should have put Avril Lavigne Skater Boy as the title of that one.
Okay, it works.
Um, and then on Tuesday, the 14th, we have a new moon in Cancer. This is the decision to go back to therapy. New moons are ideal for planting seeds of intention, and in Cancer, this initiates a cycle of new beginnings centered around our ability to cultivate safe and comfortable spaces. And relationships with those closest to us, even. And Mercury retrograde in Cancer is a primary character in this story, prompting us to begin revisiting those emotional conversations that became illuminated a few days ago. Um, and we're going to be revisiting those. And pop astrology really paints Cancer as an emotional crybaby, but this is not necessarily the case. Think of a crab. Crabs are very protective, very cautious. They will hide in their shell when they feel threatened, and they will lash out like Miss Crab Hands. So this new moon brings in an invitation for us to be emotionally vulnerable when it might feel hard to do so. So it needs to happen though. So that's why I'm like, this is a great time to start going back to therapy if you're like me and you stopped going to therapy. We might be thinking about that around that time. And then on Wednesday, the 15th, we have Uranus and Gemini sextile, Neptune and Aries. We also have Uranus trine Pluto in Aquarius on this, leading in a few days later on the 17th. So, what do you do when the dust and rubble settles? When we have aspects like this between the outer planets, it's typically more significant on a macro level, unless you have personal placements that are aspecting them. Collectively, this is a time of extra support to transform the larger systems in which we live. That's why everyone is so hyped about the outer planets changing signs over these last few years. Um, Uranus works together with Neptune to brainstorm the social innovations needed to achieve our dreams. And Pluto enters the picture a few days later, encouraging us to rebuild. So when things fall apart, you pick up the pieces and keep moving. A lot of these outer planet transits are a big part of why the world feels so scary and intense. But the last time they were happening, like, it, a lot of them happened during previous war times, and even during those times, like everyone still had to like go to work. Like you
Right.
still like everyone still lived as normal. So we're really thinking about that right now, and we're still having to like move forward, but how can we tweak that so that we're moving in a direction that we want to move in?
Yeah.
So that's week 3. Do you have any thoughts?
Uh, I don't think like that, when we're living this out, it's not like everything's going to change this week.
Yeah.
But in a year, in 5 years, we're going to look back on this summer and we're going to think that a lot of things changed. A lot of things happened. Like maybe there's things happening in the ether that we're not even aware of. But then when we look back and like, well, when did that start? It's going to be now, you know? So I don't be scared. And these are nice conversations that the planets are having, you
Yeah, they
know.
are nice.
And supposedly it's like creating a new amazing society for us,
Yeah.
supposedly, but building things is hard. Like growing pains are painful.
Yeah, growing pain. That's what this is.
yeah, growing pains. I would say that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And we're going through it for sure. We're going through it. So heading into week 4, are you ready for that?
Yeah.
All right, so now the future gets loud. Okay, so this week feels big. So now we've got Jupiter talking to all of these outer planets. So the outer planets talk to each other, and now Jupiter is going to get in on those conversations. And what does Jupiter do to everything? Makes it bigger. Then we also have Mercury stationing retrograde and the Sun entering Leo, stationing direct. I don't know why it says retrograde. Right?
It does say retro. Do you want to re-say that?
Yeah. But I'm like, see, I was sick. All right, I need you to just like, it says Mercury direct, but I said it right. Okay, okay. I just must have said the wrong thing. Okay. Well, and I don't care. It's Mercury. It's part of Mercury. Anyways, so we've got the Jupiter. Jupiter's doing all the things. Just keep it in.
You're telling that to Virgo, Venus. I want to cut it out. But we're on a
You're
tight
critiquing
deadline, so I'll
me.
keep all of this in. Everyone can
You're,
see it.
you're critiquing me. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. I think that I did a good transition. I don't want to lose the transition. Yeah. Anyways, Mercury stationing direct. Okay, the retrograde already happened. I think it's because when I was typing this, first off, I was sick. But second off, like it hasn't happened yet. Right? Like I hadn't thought like, oh,
Yeah.
it's time for the other thing to happen. So, anyways, Sun's entering Leo. So this week, Jupiter talks to all the outer planets, Mercury stations direct, woohoo, and then the Sun enters Leo. And there's a feeling that we are stepping onto a new stage. And I don't feel like it always feels like that when the Sun's going into Leo. And then to have a Mercury station direct at the same time, and then Jupiter. Anyways, okay, so on Sunday, Mars and Gemini will sextile Saturn and Aries. So this is productive energy. Mars wants action. Saturn wants discipline. Together they create momentum that actually goes somewhere. I have this natally. I have Mars, Saturn sextile natally, and I'm just like, I can make a plan and make a and have the discipline to do it. You know, like it showed up in me being a dancer in the dance studio every day. So this they create momentum and it goes somewhere. So plans become practical. I can make a plan, I can make it practical, I can do a goal, and I can do all the little steps and then make it happen. And ideas become executable. So this is easier to focus and follow through. And it's motivation with a steering wheel instead of just running around like crazy. Then we head into Monday, and Jupiter in Leo will trine Neptune in Aries and oppose Pluto in Aquarius. So Jupiter is getting in on that conversation that they have this weekend. This is one of the biggest days of the month, I think, because the trine to Neptune is visionary. So people become inspired by the possibilities. So maybe this will show up more in the personal life, I think, because Jupiter is a little bit closer to us than the outer planets. It shows up a little bit more personally for us. And so in the collective, these giant changes are happening. And this is us, it becoming so big that we have to recognize how it's going to change our life. Right. But this is inspiration when it's the conversation with Neptune. So bold dreams, creative breakthroughs, and renewed faith. But then Jupiter opposing Pluto is excessive power struggles, big personalities, ideological battles. So this is like you having this incredible vision and then going and telling your partner and your partner shutting it down. So don't listen to your partner, and don't be the partner that shuts down your partner's dreams. Like, let people have the dream and they can go live in Lululand. And then they're going to come back. It'll be fine. You don't have to fight about it. Just be aware. It's the point of astrology. Be aware of what is happening so you don't get lost in the sauce. So conflicts between individual expression and collective power structures. But this is also ambition, confidence, and ego getting amplified. So yes, be confident. Yes, be ambitious, but don't run everyone down while you're doing it. So the dream gets bigger, but so does its shadow. Like, don't dream so hard that you forget to eat food. You still need to live your life. Then Tuesday, Jupiter in Leo will sextile Uranus and Gemini, and this is breakthrough energy. It's innovation, exciting developments, unexpected opportunities. And personally, these are opportunities appearing quickly, and the willingness to take risks is increasing. So this feels exciting more than disruptive. It's a door opening where there used to be a wall. And then on Wednesday, the sun enters Leo and Leo season begins. So Cancer season is over. The collective mood becomes more expressive, creative, and confident. After Cancer introspection, Leo says, okay, now what do you want to do about it? In my experience, like when we enter the Cancer season in the northern hemisphere, like we're in recovery from the school year, and like you're
Hmm.
spending time with your family, and it seems like it goes so fast because it's a cardinal sign, right? It's starting the season, and it feels like the season goes so fast. And then we get into Leo, and it's like the summer is going to be over so fast. Oh my God. And then we get
Yeah.
into Leo season, and then it's like, oh, we still have 3 more weeks of summer. Like I'm tired of my family. I want to go see my friends. It's actually hot now. Can we go back to school? So I feel like that's what happens. But it's also like back to school shopping
Yeah.
and figuring out the perfect clothes to wear.
I
So
love it.
that's Leo season. Woohoo! And then Mercury stations direct in Cancer on Thursday, and the Sun in Leo squares Chiron and Taurus. So this is the emotional processing of Cancer. Mercury retrograde starts to clear, and conversations begin moving forward. Sun square Chiron may bring up insecurities around visibility, worth, and confidence. So you may feel ready to move forward, but also feeling vulnerable. Courage isn't the absence of insecurity; it's moving anyways. So like feel the fear and move on anyways. It's just shining light onto that healing wound situation that we've got going on in your Taurus part of your chart. And then Mercury stationing direct, you know, this is our third time doing this, and hopefully this time we've gotten the right way to move forward. Mercury retrograde is just annoying, no one dies. Then on Friday, Mercury in Cancer will sextile Venus and Virgo, and this is productive conversations, practical relationship healing through conversation. So if you have that conversation that you've been putting off, this would be a good day to have it. It's also a good day to get your summer reading done, get all of your homework done before the school year starts. Because I'm sure we have so many kids watching this show, but you know what I mean. Parents know. And then on Saturday, Neptune and Aries will sextile Pluto and Aquarius. And this is subtle but important. So it's a long term background transit happening that's shaping the era, which we've already been talking about. But it is spiritual transformation, shifts in cultural narratives, new visions emerging from old systems. Like in general, our system is changing. Like Christianity is not the way that it used to look. The religion and spirituality of this country is not the way that it used to look. It's all shifting in the background. And even, whether we're the one deciding to go to church on Sunday or not, like culturally, generationally, it's changing from being a society that does go to church on Sunday every month, go to church on Sunday every week versus doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
So that's happening. And it's less likely to be dramatic event, but more likely like a feeling that something is fundamentally changing. So maybe we'll just like have a moment of awareness of, hey, I used to see this person every week at da da da, and now, oh, what does that mean? Or I don't want that yoga class isn't happening anymore, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So the future is quietly reorganizing itself. So it's really interesting that we're having all of these conversations. It's weird to have so many outer planet conversations in a row. So again, like just to reiterate, we're probably going to feel a little bit all over the place, but it's not like everything in our life is going to change. However, when we look back in a year, everything in our life will have changed and it will
Yeah.
be pointed back to this time. Changes.
Change.
It's
I'm ready
happening.
for it. We're just like,
Yeah.
we're in that period where we're like shifting into a new life.
Yeah. I was going
Yeah.
to ask, like, just before we head into the week 5, like, I think for me, this is me finishing my master's program and shifting my attention from like into really building my dance studio and my astrology um, practice progress. I tried to say progress, my astrology progress. Like building the business that I want to. And 2 years ago, like, I didn't even think these things were a possibility. Like, I hadn't started the master's program, I hadn't considered the master's program. Um, I'm living in a new place. I'm married to a new person, like a whole new life. But I feel like after this time, like once I go into August and like once I finish my master's program, like my new life's there then.
Yeah.
Like then it's like, oh, now I get to build what I want to build. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's a similar thing is happening for you?
Yeah, I would say so. And a lot of this stuff is just like healing those Uranus and Taurus wounds,
Yeah.
trauma that it left me with. So I am very grateful that Chiron's in there putting band-aids on stuff. And yeah, I think it all shows for me, I think, with the Aquarius full moon chart that I'm going to talk about here in a bit. But I see a lot of stuff like right now I'm apartment hunting. I got a new job 3 months ago, and I think like towards the end of July, I think those shifts are gonna like happen for
Right. Like
me,
you'll
and I'll
probably
be at
be
that
moving.
point. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. It has not been fun. But I think by the end of the month, with this full moon, it'll feel really bittersweet. And
Hmm.
but feel very optimistic as well. So I think it'll be a good, entering a new chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even a new book.
Ooh,
A new
yeah,
book in this series.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, on that note, jumping on to week 5, we start off on Sunday, the 26th, with Saturn retrograde in Aries, until December 10th. So, a Saturn retrograde, think of it as professional dilly-dallying. When Saturn retrogrades happen, our responsibilities become more prominent, but at the same time, we want to avoid that a lot more. So, mature decisions during this time stem from periods of reflection, slowing down in our obligations as well. And especially when it comes to Aries themes like autonomy, independence, proactiveness, our go-getter energy, and the responsibility we have to take for that. Saturn's really slowing that down and making us more reflective about it. Don't worry, the work will still get done. You do still have to work. But there is a little bit more time for reflective dilly-dallying. And Saturn retrogrades happen for a good chunk of the year. It's not something I really focus on too much. This transit will really be the most noticeable if it's aspecting personal things in your chart. So if you have personal placements between 15 to 7 degrees of the cardinal signs, which will be Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and those who are currently in the throes of their Saturn return, if it's in those degrees, you'll be feeling the Saturn retrograde the most. And it'll be rubbing over those personal placements back and forth when it's like direct and then retrograde and then direct again. It's just like a little irritation on
The
that.
color in your tattoo.
Yeah. And then on Monday, the 27th, the Sun in Leo opposes Pluto, and Sun trines Neptune and sextiles Uranus. The analogy I have for this is a small town theater kid in a red state tries bringing kinky boots to the community stage.
I love it.
So this is our last week of July and first week of August. It's not off to the easiest start. The Sun in Leo forms this opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, and on an individual level, this day brings up conflicts of ego and people maybe wanting to dull your shine. However, the Sun still gains some support from Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini, like a reminder that your audience is out there. It just feels hard to shine where you are because like people just aren't on your level. You
Hmm.
have to think outside of the box to make that happen and find those people. So this is a great day actually, like I think it's a fantastic day to get creative, but creative in a sense of like that more like pulling from the depths of you and expressing those feelings of conflict within yourself, that those feelings of like no one's letting me shine. Put it out there
Yeah.
and
Shine
give
for
it
yourself.
to your people. What are you saying?
I said shine for yourself.
Yeah, shine for
Shine in
yourself.
there. Yeah.
Shine for yourself. And then on Wednesday, we have Venus squaring Mars, Sun conjuncting Jupiter, and the full moon in Aquarius. So we're ending July with a bang. The analogy I have for this day is walking away with your dignity still
Ooh,
intact.
I
Yeah.
love it.
The day begins with this very early morning square between Venus and Virgo and Mars and Gemini. So imagine you're a graphic designer and you make a total masterpiece for a client. It's a fantastic graphic, but they don't really like it. And they send it back with a long list of edits, even though this is already your third round of edits, and they're being really nitpicky, and you're tired, and maybe you push back a little bit. So expect some frustrated and finicky behavior today. However, you can use this transit to your advantage, even if it's a hard one. Hard aspects between Venus and Mars can be great for building sexual tension.
It takes friction to happen.
Yeah, that friction can be fun, um, if used right. This is also a good day for getting done any like really detailed aesthetic work. You'll have the energy to do it. It just might be frustrating. But that square, it's uncomfortable, but it tells you that there's like action happening there, that you're doing something with that.
And then you
Um,
don't want to use too much lip,
yeah.
like, because then you can't feel anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. And then later this morning, we get the full moon in Aquarius with a Jupiter Cazimi in Leo. Um, I know, it's insane. So we're facing a lesson of releasing a piece of our ego for the good of the team,
Yeah.
or we're freeing our need to follow the crowd to embrace what makes us different. And this full moon is particularly powerful because of the Cazimi, which is a special conjunction, like a light up, lightning bolt, aha moment. There's a strong restoration of pride and dignity today that comes with your full moon release. And with the moon in Aquarius also conjunct Pluto, it might be feeling bittersweet. So there are going to be heavy emotions. They're going to be expanded emotions as well. We're going to be all up in those feels, but it's an Aquarius. So we're going to be able to like not take it that seriously. We're going to be able to handle that. Um, so yeah, it's like a fun full moon, but also not.
Yeah. I feel like it's not going to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, no.
And like
Well,
sometimes when you stand up for yourself and then you feel empowered
yeah,
and then you're like become a better person from it.
yes.
What as opposed to like if you had stayed in that situation and just continued on with the same pattern, right? And then you just keep getting smaller. So like the
Mhm.
conflict part, the Pluto opposition part, that feels icky, but it makes you better.
Yeah. So in the graphic design analogy, we start the day with that frustrating graphic design project that your client's being too nitpicky about. And then the full moon happens and you're like, am I really going to reduce the quality of my work for the sake of this low paying client?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you walk away and you feel
Mm-hmm.
better. But if
Yeah.
you had continued, like would you just keep continuing to diminish yourself over and over and over again and be
Yeah.
stuck in that? And then you're miserable and you don't love your art anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, money isn't a contributor. Of course, Pluto's in there. But dignity, money, sometimes you have to choose.
Yeah, sometimes you do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's July.
That's July, so it feels kind of like a turning point, not because everything changes overnight, but because so many of the stories that we've been living throughout this whole year are starting to reveal where they're actually headed. Like the conversations are happening now, the conversations that have been building. So this month is asking us to balance a lot of seemingly opposite things at once. So courage and humility, individuality and community, dreams and reality, freedom and responsibility. So there's moments of feeling excited, but also uncomfortable and seeing things clearly for the first time. And the future isn't arriving all at once, but it's arriving through the choices that we're making right now. So even though we're maybe not like living intentionally, or we are, or whatever, like it's not like everything's going to change in this moment, like what we've been saying over and over again through this whole episode. But when we look back in 10 years from this time, it's going to be like that moment when they shut down the country. It's going to be something like that, like we're like, we didn't know COVID was coming, or some big moment like that, something like that is going to happen. So stay curious and flexible. The point of astrology is that you can step away and not get pulled in, right? You can recognize it, you can be aware that it's coming, don't get pulled in. Let yourself evolve as the new information arrives. Growth doesn't always look like certainty. Sometimes it looks like being willing to become someone new. All right, so what do you have going on this month, Misty, and where can people find you?
I don't know what I have going on this month yet, but if I am open for readings, which I doubt it, you can find me at mercurialgirlstudios.com and just sign up for my newsletter. That's where I'll make the announcements. You can also
Yeah.
follow me on socials at Mercurial Girl Studios, and I will also make my open booking announcements there. I am doing public readings every third Saturday at Mystical Thoughts Shop in Springfield, Missouri. And you can check my store for the Zodiac collection. Hopefully, I'll have Cancer up, but I'm a little bit behind on that.
She'll be there. She'll be there.
Yeah. What about you?
I am closing my books for the month of July, maybe August too, as I finish my master's program. So those are closed, but I will continue on with my daily readings. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue what I'm doing, and then I'll start adding stuff in once I've graduated. And you
Yeah.
can find me on all the social media at Planets in Praxis, and also at my website, planetsinpraxis.com. All right, you got anything else? Are you excited for this month? What do you think?
Well, I'm excited. I'm
I'm
excited.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I
There's
think,
like so much going on. I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to know what this is about. So I'm
yeah, and
excited.
it feels like I know we're supposed to be scared, whatever, but like it, they're all good conversations.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, it may be a difficult uphill walk, but the view is going to be worth it, something like that. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like.
Sometimes great things feel scary.
Usually they do.
Yeah, usually they do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed the forecast, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else who might enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next month.
All right. Bye.
Bye.